Good morning, YouTube. It is Tuesday, April 16th, 2024, aka opening day of the NBA. Postseason, slightly early, is back with a vengeance. Tell your friends, everyone who said that we fell off, everyone who thought that it was over, everyone who laughed at my downfall. I'm the only one laughing now. My hopes and dreams is that slightly early is back now permanently. For the remainder of the postseason. There'll be some days here and there that I just won't be able to do it, but for the most part, we're back. If you're wondering, because there are some people who only watch slightly early and do not watch regular slightly biased content, which is crazy to me, but if that's you and you're wondering where the hell we've been, I've wanted to make sure I had everything ready to go for the playoffs. I didn't want to have any regrets that I didn't finish this thing or didn't finish that thing. Oh, fuck, I never paid my taxes. You know how that goes. Before the postseason started, so I've just been incredibly busy over the last couple weeks. But now we're ready to go. And today we're going to look at some of the playing games tonight, which, by the way, playback.tv/slightlybiased. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can check these out live every morning. But we will also be live here watching the games tonight, and hopefully for the remainder of the postseason. So I'm incredibly excited about that. Cannot wait to tune into these games, man. I'm incredibly pumped. I'm going on Locked On later today. I'm going on Locked On also later in the week. And also, hey, if you're in the DFW Metroplex and you have a radio near you, 97.1, the Bin and Skin Show. Don't know what day yet, but I will be on at some point in the coming days. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy week for me. So, it's going to be a busy week. So anyways, let's get into it. Let's start thinking about some of these matchups. Let's start here with this unfortunate news that I think we all kind of saw coming. Giannis is going to miss the start of the series against the Pacers with the calf strain. These are the worst type of injuries here. Obviously, this is the same thing happened to Luka a couple years ago when the Mavs made their Western Conference Finals run, last game of the season. Was it last game of the season or last game of the season or second to last? I can't remember. It was the absolute last game, yes. Strained his calf in the third quarter of a blowout. I mean, just incredibly unfortunate. Missed the first 3 games of that series. So, could be something similar here. Now, of course, in that year, the Jazz were just begging to lose in round 1. Okay, and Brunson was destined for a breakout. This Bucks team, we'll talk about this series a little bit in a second. These aren't going to be like my official predictions yet. I think I'm going to do that on Thursday or Friday. But I'm grading each matchup based off of how excited I am for it. And I'm very concerned for the Bucks. I'm very concerned for them, especially if Giannis misses time and then is not 100% when he comes back. Because Luka had a 2-1 series lead when he came back. I'm not sure I feel like that is going to happen, to be honest with you. But we'll see. But this is incredibly unfortunate. But our hopeful treatment on his left calf strain will allow him to return sometime later in the series. Of course, last year, Giannis damn near broke his back in the first round. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. Back-to-back injuries in the first round to Giannis. That it's going to greatly shift the tide in the series. I mean, just kind of insane. So we'll keep an eye out on this. Obviously, we'll keep an eye out on Kawhi, any Kawhi updates. Pat Bev breakout series. I mean, this is what you got Dame for, right? It's Dame time. It's Dame time. He has not been good at all. It must have been game against the Magic. He was fucking awful. So we'll see. It's up to Dame. Oh man. Wow. All right, let's talk really quickly here about some of these playing games tonight. Again, you can watch these with me on Playback. And for those of you, some of you asked on Sunday if I was going to post the VOD from that stream on YouTube. The answer is no. And for me personally, I just personally think the viewing experience can only really be matched on playback. Like, it's not, when you're watching the games live, you can only really feel it when you're watching the games as they're happening and playing out. Does that make sense? It's not like my YouTube streams where I'm doing, bits and skits here and there. Not to say that it will never be like that, but especially when the streams are going to be, 6 hours long, like there's going to be some lulls. There's going to be some lulls. All right. Here we go. Playing games tonight. There's going to be lulls and lulls. Both of them. Lots of lulls. We're going to laugh and have a great time. And lots of lulls where I'll probably have my camera off and doing God knows what. Really. Doing God knows what in the background. All right. So we start with a heavy hitter immediately. Lakers, Pelicans. Pelicans are 1.5 point favorites in this game, which actually makes me very concerned about Anthony Davis, who's questionable. Look at this shit, bro. LeBron's probable. Surely, right? Surely they're not tanking this game. It's been discussed. It's been like a hot button topic amongst those morning talk shows. Should the Lakers tank this game in an effort to avoid the Nuggets in round one and get the Thunder in round one, who I honestly think if the Lakers and Thunder played round one, I think I'd pick the Lakers straight up. Like, I just do. But there's no way. There's simply no way you do this. There's simply no way you go about doing this. I cannot believe the Pelicans are favorite. That actually makes me a little bit nervous for Anthony Davis. Because this is just a matchup nightmare for the Pelicans. We saw a couple days ago in what was essentially a playoff game for both of these teams, the Lakers just dominated the Pelicans. And it is a one game, who knows what the hell is going to happen. But especially if Anthony Davis is out there, it's just hard for me to imagine the Pelicans keeping up with them. Like, we saw them. Like, we saw LeBron activate that playoff mode. Hey, I'm getting to the rim every single time. And I don't care if it's Herb Jones in front of me, who's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. It doesn't matter to me. You don't have the rim protectors needed. I'm getting right at the rim every single time. And I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to drive and kick. I'm going to set up my teammates. Like, that was a masterful performance from LeBron on Sunday. Do we think that, like, should I expect anything less from LeBron tonight? Why would I? He's a top 2 player in the history of the sport. Do I think he's going to fold on a play-in game on a Tuesday night against the Pelicans? I don't really think so. But this will be fun and exciting. Now, this is the first time we've seen Zion in a postseason setting, right? Now, he hasn't been in the play-in or anything. So I'm excited about that. But again, unless the Pelicans just really came out the gates not giving a fuck on Sunday for some reason, that was a playoff atmosphere. Like, that was a playoff game. The way those two teams played. So I'm leaning Lakers pretty strongly. I cannot believe the Pelicans are favorites in this one. Slightly gambling corner. I want to preface this by saying something, guys. So, if you go to my Twitter bio does say will eventually be a sellout. I got hit up by a sports book, and the offer was fairly lucrative, but I turned it down because it just didn't feel right. Okay? Now, I want to say something because I've been very vocal about sports gambling, both here on streams. Look, I sports bet. I think sports gambling can be fun. I have a problem with ESPN being involved in sports gambling. I have a problem with the NBA itself being involved in sports gambling. Why am I saying this? I'm going to take a deal from a sportsbook at some point. All right. And I don't want you guys to be like, oh, you're such a fucking hypocrite. Yeah, I am a little tiny bit. I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. I got to be honest with you. But also, too, there's a difference between me saying, hey, guys, if you are going to sports gamble, use my code or whatever the fuck it's going to be. Or going on Locked On. You know, Locked On, we do FanDuel ads. Not we. Nick does. They don't want me doing a FanDuel read. Anyways, actually, FanDuel talent prospectors, if you just heard that, I lied. You do want me to do it. So anyways, yeah. I have a big problem with gambling being this intertwined into sports where the sports leagues themselves are involved in it. I don't have a problem promoting it. Podcasters or whatever. Do you go by X's and O's or fuck that shit and go by vibes? A little mixture of both. A healthy mixture of both. Mainly vibes, though. Mainly vibes. I actually think vibes are one of the best ways to judge things. And let's look at it. Let's look at this. Where are the vibes pointing you? It's got to be the Lakers. But the thing is, it's tough in a one-game scenario and a one-game elimination. And part of me actually wonders. Let's say CJ McCollum is red hot. Let's say he's got 6 threes in the third quarter. And the Lakers are down by 13. Do we think that there's a chance that the Lakers just say, all right, we're just going to rest our guys in the fourth for Thursday? Like, we'll sell out for the last play-in game. I think that there's a world where that exists. I actually think there's a world where that exists. Now, it would be such a terrible fucking look for the league. Such a terrible look for the league if you set up this play-in tournament with really the idea behind it being, one, a couple more postseason games to add to, the TV schedule, but also, two, to add to the hype of, the regular season. Like, these last few games matter because more teams are in it and you want to get out of the play-in tournament. That would be such a terrible look. If a team in the play-in tournament decides, yeah, we're going to tank this game. We're going to tank it. We don't want to play it. So we'll see. That's what I'm interested in. But I especially if AD's playing and healthy, I really struggle to see the Lakers not winning this one. I really, really do. But if AD's out there and he can barely walk up and down the court, okay, well then that changes things dramatically. So I'm thinking that's what's baked in here. But I'm going Lakers. I'm thinking Lakers win this one. So that's my official prediction here. It's just they're a matchup nightmare. The size, the athleticism, getting to the rim, the length. They match the Pelicans' length incredibly well. And then LeBron just puts his head down and goes to the rim every time, and Valanciunas gets fucking abused. I struggle to see the Lakers not winning this one. And then Warriors and Kings tonight as well. Anyone else just whenever you think about the Kings, anyone else just get like this feeling in their stomach? Just almost sadness in a way. For us Mavs fans, we spent the bulk of the season kind of shitting on them, anticipating their downfall. Of course, we were correct. Because we were watching the games, we were paying attention, we were monitoring. All right, I see the direction this team is headed in. It's clear as day, and it did happen. But I feel badly about it. I do feel badly about it. They're obviously dealing with a bunch of injuries. No Malik Monk is really... Malik Monk, in the series that these two teams had a year ago, Malik Monk was really good. Really, really good in that series. Got to the rim, was just a pain in the ass for the Warriors. So, no Monk here obviously hurts the Kings in numerous ways. We saw Sabonis get completely neutralized in this matchup a year ago. Everyone's taking the Warriors. They're the favorites here. And I do think they win. They'll be my pick. I think this will be close, though. I really do. I think this will be a close down to the wire game. And I think the Warriors just ultimately have that championship experience and don't really give a fuck about going on the road. And I think that they'll pull it out. But I got to tell you, I was thinking about this morning, and I think the Kings have like a much better chance than people are giving them credit for in this game. And the reason being is I think De'Aaron Fox can pop off at any given moment. And if Fox goes off for 40 in this one, and Fox played well in that postseason series a year ago, and he's been playing better basketball lately. If De'Aaron Fox pops off, am I uber confident that this version of Steph this season, who's still been really good, but hasn't been like, Steph, that they can like match the firepower of a guy like popping off? I'm not entirely sure. So I do have to say, all right, so on Basketball Reference, they have De'Aaron Fox as the 2023-2024 steals champ. Was that not Shea? Everyone says it's Shea. Basketball Reference does not have Shea as the steals champ. But Basketball Reference gave it to Fox. Are they giving it to Fox because he had more total steals, maybe? No, Shea had more total steals. Okay, I'm really curious as to what that is. Is it like Shea averaged 2.01 and Fox averaged 2.02? Anyways, sorry, that's beyond the point. But can Fox pop off in this game? That's the swing. We know Sabonis is not popping off. And this isn't me like shitting on Sabonis as per usual. That's just not his game. His game isn't, I'm going to pop off, guys. Everyone get the fuck out the way. I'm going for 40. Like, that's not how Sabonis operates. Fox over his last 6 games, 28.8 points per game. On 50% from the field, 42% from deep. So he's heating up at the right time. They're going to need him. They're going to need him to have a big game tonight. I mean, no two ways around it, really. I think the Warriors prevail, but I think this will be closer than, I don't know. I feel like people are just pinning in the Warriors and just ending the King season immediately. I'm not entirely sure about that. The bigger question, will Draymond get ejected with Sabonis? Would that not be a hilarious way for this war? Okay, so let's map out a scenario here. The Warriors lose tonight. Draymond gets ejected in the second quarter because he forearmed Sabonis in the trachea. He gets ejected. The Warriors lose. Steph's crying on the court because he's so angry that Draymond got ejected. You have to blow it up in the offseason, don't you? Like, if that's how your season is in the 9-10 playing game, Draymond gets ejected in the second quarter, and you lose the game, and your season's over just like that, and you're the 10 seed. Is that not like, all right, we have to blow this shit up? Like, Draymond, goodbye. Good fucking riddance. No, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's kind of a funny scenario to think about. And I'm kind of hoping it does happen now. I'm honestly hoping I'm hoping that's what we see. That would be ideal. I'm rooting for it. But I'm picking the Warriors here. I'm going chalk. Actually, not really. The Pelicans are favorite. So I'm going Lakers and Warriors, 2 road teams winning. Just think that's how it plays out. Those are the 2 better teams where they're standing right now. And then Heat Sixers tomorrow. Woo! Woo! That is a crazy playing game. We'll talk more about those 2 games tomorrow. The Heat, in theory, the Heat have no chance, but it's the fucking Miami Heat. All right, let's open up Google Docs. In theory, the Heat have no chance, but in reality, they're the Miami Heat, so they always have a chance. I have Thunder friends in my life who are very big Laker fans tonight. I mean, for a 1 seed to be this scared of a potential 8 seed, just hilarious. Grading each first round series. So we're going to talk through each first round series, just base level stuff here. I'm not doing my predictions yet, but we're just grading them just in terms of how excited we are about them. And then we'll ultimately rank them to see which ones are the most exciting. We'll just factor in play-in and what we think could happen. We'll factor in potential matchups, okay? So let's just start. Let's start with the series that we know. All right? We'll start in the East. Cavs Magic. I'm actually pretty excited about this series. This will almost certainly be the NBA TV series, but there's a world where it's Pelicans Thunder, and that might be the League Pass series, to be honest with you, because those are two of the absolute smallest markets in the NBA. But Cavaliers Magic, I think this series is juicy. I think there's a lot. When you're thinking about playoff series, narratives play a big part, right? And there's a lot of narratives in this series. If the Cavaliers lose this, and if they lose it in, embarrassing fashion, kind of like they did a year ago, oh, it's going to be a spicy offseason for them. Spicy. But I actually think that this is a fun series just basketball-wise. Just basketball-wise. I think it's going to be really fun to watch the guards on the Cavaliers try to score against this just insane defense. And there's going to be some rock fights. Like, there's going to be some ugly-looking final scores of this series that I'm pretty interested in. I'm giving this a B. I'm starting this one with a B. That would be my grade for it. I'm excited. It has some narratives. I'm very intrigued by it. I honestly, right now, I'm going to do some real deep diving into these series in the coming days. Right now, I don't really know who I'm going to pick. I'm leaning one way. I won't say which way, but Orlando Magic. But we'll see how it all plays out. I think the atmosphere in Orlando is going to be electric. I can't wait. I actually am very intrigued by this series. On the other end of the spectrum, Bucks Pacers. So, obviously, these two teams had quite the regular season. I mean, every game there was some shit going on. They don't like each other. I think we're destined to get a handful of altercations throughout the course of this series. You had Tyrese Halliburton doing game time right in front of Dame's face. You had the Pacers stealing the game ball. I mean, a bunch of shit went down between these two teams. And I want to point this out. That game where the Pacers stole Giannis' game ball when he scored 60 whatever points. Went back and watched that game. Giannis was playing dirty as fuck at points throughout that game. I mean, shoving people, the forearm shoving to people's chests after the play was over. Giannis has a sneaky, dirty streak in him. It was on full display in this game. The Pacers have sneakily been a pretty good defense lately. This should be interesting. Giannis being injured does change things a tiny bit here, obviously. But I'll go B+. Just because we have the history there. And there's still some narratives. Like, let's think of a doomsday scenario. Giannis comes back for game 3, and the Bucks are down 2-0, and they end up losing the series because Damian Lillard had a dog shit series. What are we talking about afterwards? Like, what's the conversation going to be? It's going to be very interesting. The Bucks are in kind of an interesting. If they have an early exit in the playoffs, it could get really interesting in the summer. One of those things. It'll be Dame was never happy there. Yeah, that will probably be it. They might look to trade Dame and flip Dame. Like, there could be some stuff that goes on. But I think that I don't know, actually. I kind of think Magic Cavaliers might be a little bit better. If Giannis is hurt, the Bucks are not a very fun team to watch. They're just not. They're slow. They're old as fuck. And now I have no Giannis. I'm actually moving this to B-. there's some fun narratives there. And this is B- in relation to playoff series. So I still think it's going to be great. All right. Mavericks versus Clippers. This is everything you'd want in a first round series. Everything that you could possibly want. I'm going A. I'm just leaving it at A currently. Should be an A plus, but I'll leave it at A currently just because there is some uncertainty about Kawhi Leonard's status, whether or not he's going to be back, whether or not he's going to be 100%. Even if he does miss, I still think this is a juicy series with a lot of fun, fun narratives and stuff like that. So I've been watching a bunch of Clippers tape, been looking at some numbers. I do think the Mavericks have the edge in this series. I don't want to spoil too much stuff. I'm hoping to have a video tomorrow about this series. I just think the Mavs, in a lot of swing categories, I think the Mavericks have the advantage. And it's just interesting to see how it's all going to play out. Remember when the Mavericks were going up against the Kings, and it was that 2-game series, pretty much the little baseball series, and it basically determined whether or not the Mavericks would be a play-in team or a playoff team. And I told you guys, there was some concern and some nerves because the Kings had the Mavericks number in the first 2 games of the season. I told you guys, hey, I've been watching, obviously I watch every single Mavericks game, and I've been watching all these Kings games. The Mavs are better. The Mavericks are better. And as long as they play their game, they're going to win. That's it. I feel very similarly about this series. It's really up to the Mavericks. If they shoot well from 3, if the Mavericks role guys are hitting threes, this could be over in 5. Like that is genuinely where my brain is at. They have size. And now the Clippers, where in the past when Zubac was getting cooked, could feel comfortable going small against this Mavericks team that's already small. That's not really the case anymore. The Clippers are already a porous rebounding team to begin with. And if Zubac gets played off the floor, their rebounding becomes exponentially worse. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it all matches up. That's the one thing that I'm most interested in this series right now, is if the Clippers do decide to go small, do the Mavericks say, okay, we're going to punish you now. Now we are going to go to work. That's what's going to be interesting to me. Or are they going to say, all right, we'll go small with you? Because then you're playing a little bit into the Clippers' hand. So I'm interested to see how this is all going to unfold, how this is all going to play out. But this is going to be a fun series regardless. And if Kawhi is healthy and is ready to play, this is an A+ first round series. I have no idea if Lively's going to be back. I have no clue. Oh. With Kawhi's injury stuff up in the air, is Timberwolves Suns a better series? Just from a pure basketball fan perspective? I think that's an A+ first round series right there. Wow. Suns versus Timberwolves. A+. That is. Shout out to the Suns, man. Anytime they you think that it's over, they pull you back in. Obviously, what's interesting about this, I pretty much toss out every single regular season matchup when we talk about the postseason, especially where it's like the Mavs versus Clippers. Okay, these teams last played in December. Like there's genuinely nothing similar about these teams anymore. Kind of the same with the Bucks and Pacers. Like Siakam didn't play in any of those meetings, so that changes things, obviously. The Suns and Timberwolves have played twice in like the last 2 weeks. They played twice in the not 2 weeks. I'm sorry, twice in the last 10 days. And Minnesota lost both. Bradley Beal popped off in both. Again, this isn't a prediction video. We'll do that, a full-fledged deep dive. I think Thursday or Friday. I don't know which one yet. Probably Friday. But man, this is going to be so good. This is going to be so good. I don't think the Wolves lose in 5. I don't know who I'm going to pick yet. I really don't. Anthony Edwards is going to have a moment. I do feel that. I feel like he's built for it. And I hope he does, because if he has kind of a stinker postseason, then it's just like that uncomfortable thing where you spend all offseason long like hyping up somebody, and then it happens, and then it's like, oh. And it's just like, oh. We spent all season long calling him the next MJ, and now what? We just pretend we didn't do that? Is that what we're going to have to do? But man, this is gonna be a blast. Suns do own the Wolves, but I'm interested to see if there's gonna be some get back. This is gonna be a great series. All of these series are good. All right, now let's think about potential 1-8, 2-7 matchups. Thunder versus Pelicans feels destined, but we honestly don't know. So I want to tentatively grade some of these play-in matchups. Potential 1v8, 2v7. What's the most juicy outcome for the Celtics? Is it the rematch against the Heat? Which I think the Celtics would sweep that, honestly. I do. Or would it be the Sixers, who I think right now are the second best team in the East? Celtics, Hawks. Hey, man, the Hawks have their number. Knicks, Sixers is juicy, too. Really, regardless of what happens in the East, assuming it's the Heat and the Sixers. No offense to the Bulls or the Hawks, but let's just be real. We don't want them in it. All right? God bless you guys. Hope you guys have a great offseason. You know, Bulls, you guys gave us some fun moments throughout the course of the season. You're better than your record might indicate. Hawks, you guys are fucking trash and don't belong in the postseason in any way, shape, or form. We don't want you guys in the playoffs. And I'm just speaking truthfully, okay? We want Heat and 76ers. What's a better scenario? Celtics, Heat, Knicks, Sixers? Where you get the rematch, Celtics, Heat, you get that narrative. And then Knicks, Sixers, I think, is a bloodbath. Like, that's the second and third best team in the Eastern Conference currently, squaring off in round 1. And the winner of that, considering you're on the other side of the Celtics bracket, the winner of that has, I think, a very good chance to make the conference final. Or Celtics Sixers, who might be the Sixers might have the best chance of beating the Celtics. You get that round 1. And Heat Knicks round 2, which is also a rematch of last year's postseason, where Jalen Brunson was just going barnacles every single game. I'm not doing full predictions yet. Which one's better? I just have to say, I think Sixers Celtics round 1 is way better. That to me is the juiciest 1-8 matchup. I do think the Celtics still win it pretty comfortably, but it would be pretty fun. I'm just thinking of all the narratives, right? All the fun stuff that could come from that series. If the Sixers lose in the first round, it's like, all right, well, Embiid's going to be 31 at the start of the next postseason. He had to make a conference finals. Obviously, he's injured again, but still. Or it's, oh my God, the Celtics just fucking lost in round 1. Oh, there's really, from a hater perspective, there's no way to lose. There is no way you can lose that series. That's about as good as a 1-8 can get. But I will say, Lakers versus Thunder, if that was a possible outcome, and it is a possible outcome, is right up there too. If this series happened, I'm telling you, I think I would pick the Lakers to win it. I honest to God, think the Lakers would win that series. Still think it'd be close in a fun series. Obviously, it would all depend on Anthony Davis staying healthy. What are the Celtics going to do if they lose in the first round? I don't think there's any way they lose in the first round, even if it is the Sixers. But if they do, if they lose in the first round, what do you even do? Like genuinely, what do you do? You just won 64 games. You just won 64 games and were the best team in the league for the entire season. I honestly, God, don't think you would do anything. I think you just look your fans in the eye and say, hey, we fucked up, but we're not doing shit. We're coming back next year, the same team. I think this would be an A- series as well. Those are, to me, the two best 1-8, 2-7s we could get. And they're both 1-8s. Nuggets Lakers is juicy, but I think the Nuggets take care of business there. Any of these other Western Conference teams, Kings, Warriors, Pelicans, I think lose to the first and second seeds pretty easily. Warriors OKC could be fun. They had some fun regular season games, but I think the Thunder are just better. Okay, Warriors OKC. And I'm sorry to discredit. I give this a B. I just give this a straight B. I'm sorry to discredit the Pelicans, but I'm discrediting them. And I guess we have to give the Lakers Nuggets some love because I think that's the likeliest outcome. I just think the Nuggets win that series, dude. I could maybe try to talk myself into the Lakers winning it, but I'd go Lakers versus Nuggets C+. Actually, I'd go B-. I'll give him the LeBron factor. Heat Knicks is fun. I'm just not in love with the Heat this year. I think this would get a B. Heat Celtics to me has a fun narrative behind it. But I think I honestly think the Celtics would sweep that series. I seriously think the Celtics sweep that. This is just not, I don't see the Heat having it. I don't see the Heat having it. Sorry, Bulls and Hawks. Don't see a scenario in which you guys make it. Kings, I'm sorry. You guys are just beat to hell. Pelicans, you guys have a very good chance of making the playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong. A 7 or an 8 seed has never missed the playoffs. Haven't they always made it? So the Pelicans have a very good chance of making the playoffs. I just can't. I can't see them winning either of their series. Warriors missed out once. All right, my bad then. So, anyways, Suns Timberwolves. I think before we don't really know what's going on with Kawhi. We're not entirely sure what's going on with Kawhi. Obviously, if he's healthy, this is an A+ series through and through. Suns Timberwolves, I think, is an A+ series all the way through. Magic Cavaliers, I think, is better than most people think. Pacers Bucks, I just don't love watching the Bucks. And if Giannis is going to miss the first 2 to 3 games, if Giannis misses the first 2 to 3 games, that's just difficult for me to really get behind that series in a serious way. The Clippers not being forced to say Kawhi status is bullshit, honestly. I mean, dude, we still have 5 days until the series starts. Like, I think it's fine. I mean, the Mavericks aren't dumbasses. Like, they're preparing for Kawhi. I hope so. All right, let's take a quick peek here. This is the award tracker. So, just real quick. Of course, Stephen A. Smith does not even have Luka on his ballot. If that's really what it is. Now, does Nick Wright have a vote? I think he does. He voted Luka first. He doesn't? Fuck! God damn it. God damn. So I want Luka to finish second. He deserves second. He just does. It's just the arguments against Luka for Shea make no sense, man. I'm sorry. Like, being the 1 seed with that young of a team is most certainly impressive. But I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast, and the way that they talked about the Thunder was disgusting. And it's especially disgusting because I know that they watch all the games. So acting as if the Thunder are some dog shit team that, like, they absolutely have to have Shea to make everything work is really kind of disgusting to me. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, that's just kind of nasty work, in my opinion. I accidentally deleted that tweet, but somehow...
Second in the overall voting? I don't know. I think it's going to be between him and Luka for second, and I honestly don't know. I think it's going to be close.
Do you think he's better than Luka?
No.
Okay.
I'm
not doing this because I think you're wrong. I'm asking.
I think he had a better regular season than Luka did because his job was harder, and there needed to be a consistency.
Wait, you think Dallas? You think? Geez, I don't know about that. OKC's a better roster than Dallas.
The silence afterwards. I mean, that's what this is what I need, because Mavericks fans have been a little overboard. I personally think so. You know, I've been campaigning for our guy and all that, but I do think some Mavericks fans have gotten a little bit overboard to the point where any tiny slight is just like the end of the fucking world, and we're dragging you. Like, we're quote tweeting. You're gonna get 50 to 60 quote tweets from us. Of course, there's certain times where I feel like it's warranted, like the kitchen sink stuff. But, you know, there's other stuff where it's just like, look, I don't have a problem with people picking Jokic for MVP. I really don't. If I had a vote, I'd pick Luka, obviously. But if you just want to say, hey, look, I just think Jokic was better this season, I'm not going to sit here and scream at you. I'm just not. I do have to push back against Shea stuff, to be 100% honest with you. Because you can't... Nobody in their right mind would say that Shea's better than Luka. Okay? Luka had a historic season. I mean, a genuinely an offensive season, the likes of which we've never seen. And it is going to be one of those things. Bill Simmons always talks about how this is a snapshot of the league. It's going to be one of those things where you look back on years from now at Luka's season And you're like, oh, that was his first MVP, assuming he actually does win one. It's like, actually, no. He finished fucking third in MVP voting that year behind Shea. And you're like, what? Wait, what happened there? How did that happen? And of course, Mavericks fans were there like, yeah, they threw all these nonsensical fucking advanced stats at us. And then Shea was the 1 seed that was decided on the absolute last day of the season. But it is like, damn, man. Like, he's not going to be second. Like, come on now. And what are the reasonings? What was Bill's? I listened to that podcast. What was Bill's reasoning? They had Kyrie Irving, guys. Bill fucking Simmons said this. This is what I said at the end of my video. You guys can't do this, national media. You guys cannot do this. Not only has he shitted on Kyrie for years, he shitted on Kyrie in that same podcast where he said, how are we so sure that Kyrie's not going to have a press conference 2 days before the playoffs start? It's like, why the fuck would he do that? Like, why would he do that? Like, come on. I know you're trying to get a joke off, but you make the same joke every time you talk about the Mavericks. Like, genuinely, every single time the Mavericks come up, you give them the props. You do. But then it's always with a backhanded, like, yeah, well, Kyrie's going to have a press conference in the coming days and talk about why the pyramids were brought by aliens. But I'm like, all right, you guys spent all summer shitting on Luka, shitting on Kyrie, shitting on the Mavericks. Shouldn't the fact that they've worked and Luka has really, I don't even want to say learned how to, because he's always been able to, but Luka is showing how capable he is playing next to another star. Shouldn't that be like, shouldn't that be a point in Luka's favor? Like, it's just, the goalposts keep moving. We just want you guys to give us a solid reason, a sound reason. And we feel like we haven't gotten it. Because any of the arguments against Luka are either really fucking weak and just like eye roll inducing, like the Kyrie stuff, where it's like, come on, bro. You can't do that. You cannot do that. That is not right. Or, oh my God, Jack Leader's actually coming up? Wow. Or this idea that Luka had a slow start to the season. This shit makes me want to punch a hole in a wall. Like, actually, it makes me angry. This idea that Luka had a slow start to the season, it's a full season reward. Okay, well, if that's the case, guess what? If that is the case that you're making, that this is a full season award and you can't reward like a good stretch, guess what? Shea, you're done. You don't have an argument at all. Why? Because I don't think any MVP candidate had the lull that you had. They just didn't. I don't care that you were injured. It sucks, I know. But hey, shit happens. Look at this, man. Where was the Luka low point? We watched the whole season. When did Luka have a bad, like, 5-game stretch? Did he ever? Did he ever have a single or bad 5-game stretch this season? Look at this. Look at this drop off for Shea. There's actually, my face is blocking one of them. There's two different drop offs for Shea. Like, I'm sorry. This is the worst argument. You're exposing yourself. I need you to know that you are wrong. I need you to know that you are incorrect. This idea that Shea had a harder job than Luka, and the idea was like everything flows through him late in games. So what? So we just pick and choose now when things are good or bad, because people use Luka having the ball in his hands a bunch against him all the time. But now it's a good thing now. Well, how do you explain away the playmaking gap? That's one thing I never understood either. The defensive stuff, all right, Shai's a better defender than Luka. Shai's like the third or fourth best defender on his team. So I don't even know what to fucking take away from that should be, honestly. Like, how do you explain away the monumental playmaking gap that there is? How do you do it? How do you explain away the fact that one guy is a generational all-time playmaker? And the other guy is a solid playmaker, a good one. Like a good playmaker. The other guy is an all-time great one to go along with one of the greatest scoring seasons the league's ever seen. Like, what the fuck are we? This is stupid. Like, he's not going to win it. He's just not. He's probably going to finish third, and it's going to be a stain on the league. I really do. Like, we're going to look back on it years from now and be like, what the hell happened there? What the hell happened there? How did that happen? Like, we're going to see the numbers, and it's going to be, wait, third? Wow. All right. I'm interested to see Defensive Player of the Year. All right, Victor's got 2 votes. Victor's got 2 first place votes. Who else voted him first? Michael Pena? Oh, Kobe White's actually leading right now in most improved. Thank God. I do not think Tyrese Maxey. I agreed wholeheartedly with Bill Simmons on this. I do not think Tyrese Maxey should win most improved. I just don't think so. That's part of why I absolutely hate the award and think it's really stupid. Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson? Tyrese Maxey to me, like, okay, Harden leaves and Maxey's able to put up a lot more shots. Like, he got better for sure, but he was already really fucking good a year ago. Like, Kobe White was genuinely, like, at best, maybe a 9th or 10th man on the team. Like, that was the idea behind him. Rookie of the Year. Yeah. I feel like this is just going to be... I think this is going to be the top 3 in everyone's ballot. I'd be a little bit surprised. J-Dub does not... I'm sorry. Second-year guys should never get it. 6-man... I'm gonna do awards. Maybe tomorrow on stream we'll do awards. I was gonna maybe do a video, but I feel like streams are better for awards. Don't you think? Video or stream? I think stream's just better because we can talk about all the players and stuff. It's gonna be more of a long form thing anyways. So we'll do that tomorrow on stream. Sorry if you guys hear they're doing a leaf blower outside. But I think this will be everyone's top 3. 6-man. Oh, wow. Naz Reid leads comfortably. Okay. I personally think I'd vote Malik Monk. Doesn't make me feel good that Kendrick Perkins is the only one who believes in that with me, to be honest with you. Coach of the Year, it has to be Dagnall. Yeah, he's gonna win in a landslide. I'd have Mosley second. Wait, who had Missoula 1? I mean, they did win 64 games. Never forget that Luka got left off of 3 All-NBA ballots last year. This one's gonna be spicy. The All-NBA, the third teams. It looks like Halliburton's probably going to end up getting it. I really don't think he deserves it. But this is the stupidest fucking thing because they were talking about on the Bill Simmons podcast that they feel bad for Halliburton. I do not think he deserves this award. I don't think he's been a top 15 player in the league. It does not sound like Sabonis is going to make it, no. It does not sound like Sabonis is going to make it. Bontemps again going rogue? What did he do this time? Brunson first team? There's going to be more people who vote Brunson first team than Bontemps. That will not be just him going rogue. Wow, Kendrick Perkins. Yeah, no Giannis, huh? I don't get leaving Giannis out. I mean, JJ Redick had Giannis outside of his top 5 in MVP. I can't get behind that. I cannot get behind that. Luka will be unanimous first team, yes.